Welcome back, class 10, your civics class. Continuing with the Union Parliament. Exclusive powers of the two houses. Certain powers are exclusively either in the domain of the Lok Sabha or that of the Rajya Sabha. Exclusive powers are powers exclusively in the domain of the Lok Sabha. What are the powers which are exclusively are under the Lok Sabha? Number one, financial matters. A money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. Money bill, after it has been passed by the Lok Sabha, is transmitted to the Rajya Sabha for its recommendations. The Rajya Sabha must return the money bill to the Lok Sabha within a period of 14 days. If the bill is not returned within 14 days of its receipt by the Rajya Sabha to the Lok Sabha, it shall be deemed to have passed by both the houses in the form in which it was passed in the Lok Sabha. So what does it mean? It means that when a money bill at first a money bill can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. It cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. After this money bill is being passed, it goes to the Rajya Sabha. Now in Rajya Sabha, it stays for a period of 14 days, within which the Rajya Sabha has to return the bill with or without recommendations. Even if there are recommendations, the Lok Sabha is not bound to listen to the recommendations. Anyway, if it is not returned within 14 days, it is deemed, it automatically becomes, it is passed. It is deemed, you say that if the bill is not returned within 14 days of the receipt date on the day which the bill was received by the Rajya Sabha, from that date you count 14 days. Within the 14 days, if it is not returned, the bill is deemed to have been passed by the both houses. The Lok Sabha may accept or reject or any recommendations of the Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha only has the power to vote on demands for grants, that is, the grant for various ministries under the budget of the Government of India. Grants means money. That means flood relief, now the vaccination grants, all sorts of things. The Rajya Sabha may discuss the grants, but it has no power to vote on them. That means all the financial powers, if you understand it, all the financial powers are kept in the hand of the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha has no financial power as such. If any question arises whether a bill is a money bill or not, the decision of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha thereon shall be final. Whatever the Speaker says in the Lok Sabha, that decision will be final. Responsibility of Council of Ministers. The Union Council of Ministers is collectively responsible for Lok Sabha. The President invites the leader of the party or parties having the support of more than half the members of the Lok Sabha to form the government. Obviously, the President invites the leader of the party which has won the election to form the government. An important function of the Lok Sabha is to make and throw out governments. How? Throwing out means by passing no confidence motion. The ministers continue in office, or if they lose their majority privilege in the general elections. The ministers continue in office so long as they enjoy the confidence of the majority of the members of the Lok Sabha. As long as they enjoy being the majority group or the majority party, they will remain in the government as a ruling party. No confidence motion against the Council of Ministers can be moved only in the Lok Sabha. If the motion is passed, it implies loss of confidence and the Prime Minister has to submit the resignation of the Council of Ministers. So if a no confidence motion is passed, the Prime Minister along with his Council of Ministers has to resign. An adjournment motion is one of the way which the Lok Sabha exercises control over ministers. It is moved only in the Lok Sabha because it indicates a strong disapproval of the policy of the government. An adjournment motion can be moved in the Lok Sabha when the majority members of the Lok Sabha thinks that any uh, approach or policy of the government, if they dislike, they can move an adjournment motion. Essential motion is different from no confidence motion. How it can be moved in the Lok Sabha against an individual minister or a group of ministers. That is censure motion. No confidence motion, on the other hand, is moved against the entire council of ministers. The member should state the reason why he is moving a censure motion, why the censure motion is moved. In other words, censure motion should specify the policies or acts that has been censured. A motion of no confidence need not record the grounds on which it is based. So basically, the difference between a censure motion and a no confidence motion is a censure motion is moved against an individual member of the Lok Sabha or a group of ministers, while the no confidence motion, on the other hand, is moved against the entire council of ministers. A censure motion has to specify why it has been moved, on what issue, what was the reason, and it has to specify which exact policy or act which has been censured, which they are against. Whereas no confidence motion need not record any ground on which it is passed. According to a few legal experts, adoption of censure motion would result in the resignation of the government. However, a vote of censure against a particular minister has no effect. So these provisions clearly bring out the fact that the Lok Sabha is more powerful than the Rajya Sabha, because whole monetary, the financial game or the financial power is totally in the hands of the Lok Sabha. Powers exclusively in the domain of the Rajya Sabha. Number one, making law on the matters of state list and national interest. Questions often asked. The Rajya Sabha has the power to declare that it would be in the national interest for the parliament to enact a law on the matter of state list. If Rajya Sabha passes a resolution by two-thirds of the majority, the parliament can make law on the whole or any part of the country on any matter given under the state list. It can pass a law in the matter of state list. Creating one or more All India services. The Rajya Sabha may, by a two-thirds majority, pass a resolution that is necessary in the national interest to create one or more All India services. After that, the Parliament may, by law, create new services. This power of the Rajya Sabha is also in the keeping of the federal character of the Constitution. We know that the members of All India services hold very important posts in the states. Therefore, makers of the Constitution took the view that additional All India services could be created by the consent of the state. So, what does it mean? Rajya Sabha can make All India service, any association which gives All India service, provided two-thirds of the majority passes a resolution in the Rajya Sabha. And after that, thereupon the Parliament can make law to create these services, that means legalizing these services. Conclusion. Constitution puts Rajya Sabha on an equal footing with the Lok Sabha in certain matters, such as election and impeachment of the president, removal of the judge, proclamation of emergency, promulgation of ordinance, and constitutional amendments. Under these five categories, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha plays a more or less equal role. But the fact remains that Rajya Sabha is not at par or equal with the Lok Sabha. But we should not forget that Rajya Sabha is a very permanent chamber and it has very important and major role to play in the approval of emergency and during the period where Lok Sabha remains suspended. Now, there are certain parliamentary procedures which you should know. For proper transaction of the business of the houses, a number of rules and formalities have to be observed. These rules and formalities have come to be known as parliamentary procedures. Number one, summoning of the house. The president may from time to time summons each house of parliament to meet at such time and place as the president thinks fit. The President calls or summons each house of the Parliament in the time and place where he thinks it is fit. Now, session of the Parliament. The session, these are important from the examination point of view. The session means a period during which the House meets to conduct its business. The sessions of each House of Parliament are summoned by the President. This is subject to the condition that 6 months shall not intervene between the two sessions. That means 6 months should not pass between these two sessions. In other words, Parliament should hold at least 2 sessions in a year. Normally, 3 sessions are there: budget session from February to May, monsoon session from July to September, and winter session from November to December. Now, President's address. A President addresses the joint sitting of the two houses at the commencement of the first session after the general election. After the general election, when the Parliament session starts, the President addresses two houses together. The President shall also address both the Houses of the Parliament at the commencement of the first sessions each year. That means first session is a budget session, that is, it starts in February. So at the starting of that session, the President will address a joint session. The President addresses a policy statement of government. The address sets out the tasks that the government wishes to undertake and the subjects on which it proposes to make law. Now comes motion of thanks. The debate on the President's address takes form of a motion thanking the President for the speech. The motion of thanks provides an opportunity for the discussion of matters referred to in the address. At the end of the discussion, the Prime Minister replies to the debate. Then the motion of thanks is put to vote. This is the whole procedure of the motion of thanks. Now, certain terms which you have to know. Question hour or interpellation. The first hour of sitting in the House is allotted for asking and answering questions. Therefore, it is called the question hour. So, what is the purpose? Why? The purpose of question hour is to obtain information on a matter of public importance. A question must not ordinarily exceed 150 words. A member has to give 10 days clear notice of a question. So there are 3 types of questions: starred, unstarred, and short notice questions. Starred questions are those to which a member wishes to have an oral answer on the floor of the House. Orally you have to answer it. Such questions are distinguished with an asterisk, with star marks. Supplementary questions means additional questions can be asked after the replies of such questions are given. Unstarred questions do not carry an asterisk mark or star marks. Answers to them are given in a written form. So no additional or supplementary questions can be asked. Short notice questions relate to a matter of urgent importance. Urgently you have to answer it. Such questions may be asked with notice shorter than 10 clear days. Now comes the 0 hour. The time which begins at 12 o'clock noon, soon after the question hour, is known as the 0 hour. Usually at 1 o'clock the members go out to lunch. The 0 hour therefore should not exceed more than 1 hour. During 0 hour, members raise all types of questions. Sometimes they raise matters simply to gain publicity or just to embarrass the government. Most of the time, that unruly fighting things you see on the TV in the Parliament is during the 0 hour. Now, what are the various types of motions? There are basically 2 types of motions which we will study. One is the adjournment motion and one is the no confidence motion. A motion is a formal proposal, important, made by a member that the House ought to do something or express an opinion in regard to some matter of public importance. An adjournment motion. An adjournment motion proposes that the House should lay aside all important matters in business to take up the consideration of a matter of urgent public importance. Suppose there are certain matters which were planned, which will be discussed in the House, but certain urgent national calamity has taken place. So, what topics were to be discussed is adjourned, kept aside, and this important thing is being discussed. Such a motion interrupts the normal business of the House. Therefore, it is up to the Speaker whether he or she will admit or allow adjournment motion or not. Therefore, the Speaker applies rigorous tests for the admissibility of the adjournment motion. The principles that guide the Speaker are there are certain principles which the Speaker will think or will judge whether it's which is whether it is an adjournment motion or not. Number one, that the matter raised to be discussed is a definite matter. Number two, that the urgency is of such character that the matter should be discussed in the same day. It's a very urgent matter. And number three, that the subject is of public importance. The matter which is to be discussed is very important and it is involving matters of public importance. The following are the some subjects on the adjournment motion can be admitted. Number one, death of a few persons because of consumption of illicit liquors, killing of an IPS officer in a religious place in Punjab, serious situation arising in the extremist activities, massive rail train accident, things like that. If an adjournment motion is passed by the House, it indicates a strong disapproval on the policy of the government. Though it does not result in the resignation of the Prime Minister, it goes to show that the government has failed to tackle a problem in an effective way. If certain important national emergency or national matter comes out so that an adjournment motion has to be passed, it definitely shows that the government is not able to tackle national problems effectively. Now comes no confidence motion. No confidence motion. The Council of Ministers collectively is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. Obviously, a motion expressing no confidence in government is moved by the opposition. Obviously, the government will not move no confidence motion against itself. The House grants leave to no confidence motion only when it carries the support of at least 50 members, 50. The motion has to be taken up for discussion within 10 days from the day on which leave is granted. On conclusion, a debate is on the conclusion of the debate, the Speaker puts the motion to vote. There's a lot of debating whether it should be passed or not. After the end of the debate, it is put to vote. Where is it? Yes. If the motion is passed, it implies loss of confidence in the government and the Prime Minister is obliged to submit his resignation. So if the motion is passed, no confidence motion, the Prime Minister has to resign along with all the members of the Council, along with his Council of Ministers. Now comes adjournment and prorogation of the House. An adjournment suspends the sitting of the House. It is different from prorogation because prorogation ends the session. Adjournment ending the particular sitting for a particular day. And prorogation means end of the session, that means winter session, budget session, monsoon session. The power to adjourn the House belongs to the Speaker or the presiding officer, but prorogation of the session is done by the President. The House is adjourned when the day's business is over for want of quorum, when the presiding officer finds that no business can be transacted because the House has become very unruly, lot of fighting and howling is going on. Now, we will learn about parliamentary committees. Committees are those organized bodies which consider bills, resolutions, and other items of the legislative business referred to them by the Speaker or the Chairman, as the case may be. There are at present 24 departmentally related standing committees, such as Departmentally relating standing committees of the Lok Sabha are Agricultural Committee, Communication Committee, Defense, Energy, External Affairs. And Rajya Sabha, it can be Commerce, Human Resource, Human Affairs, things like that. Then other standing committees in the House are Business Advisory Committee, which advises the House on the allocation of time for discussion on various items of the government business. There is Rules Committee that considers matters of procedures and how to conduct the meeting, things like that. It is just for your general information. Generally, questions are not asked from this part. Now, what is the difference between a bill and an act? See, a bill is a draft of a legislative proposal which is, when passed by the both houses of the parliament and assented by the president, becomes an act. Assented means signed. When a proposal, legal proposal, legislative proposal is passed by both the houses and sent to the president goes through and might give his assent, sign, or send it back with his recommendations. And once again, if the bill is sent back to the president for his signature, the president has to sign. The bill may be classified into public bill and private bill. A public bill is one referring to the matter applying to the public in general, whereas the private bill relates to a particular person or corporation or institutions. The Orphanages and Charitable Homes Bill, the Muslim Waqf Bill are private bills, and money bills and other bills can be money bills or ordinary bills. Now, procedure relating to ordinary bills. In regard to ordinary bills, two houses have been placed in equal footing, equally important. But if the bill is passed in one house, by one house, is amended back to other house, it goes back to the house where it is generated. If the house originating the bill does not agree with the amendments, it shall be deemed that the two houses have finally disagreed. If there is disagreement between the bill, a bill is generated from one house, it goes to the other house. The other house might not agree or might add some amendments. That means the two houses have not agreed in the passing of that ordinary bill. So in such case of disagreement, or in case when more than 6 months have lapsed without the bill has been passed in both the houses, the president summons a joint sitting and of the two houses. Speaker of the Lok Sabha presides over the joint session of both the houses. The bill is deemed to have been passed by the both houses if the majority members agree to it. When there is a disagreement in passing a bill in either house, a joint session is conducted, called by the president, presided over the speaker and of the speaker of the Lok Sabha, and the bill will pass by if the majority members of both the houses agrees to it. Now, what is the procedure in respect of money bill? Money bill deals with the imposition or abolition or alteration of any tax. A money bill, after it has been important, a money bill is only passed generates in the Lok Sabha. After it has been passed in the Lok Sabha, it is transmitted to the Rajya Sabha for its recommendation. Now, the Rajya Sabha must return within a period of 14 days with its recommendations. The Lok Sabha may accept the recommendations or reject all or any recommendations of the Rajya Sabha. The president shall not withhold his assent from the money bill passed by the parliament. The president will not withhold it. These provisions clearly establish the supremacy of Lok Sabha in financial matters. Now, the last portion is amendment of the constitution. That means changes. The founding fathers of the constitution has provided 3 ways to make alterations in the constitution. Number 1, articles which would be open to amendment by simple majority. Nearly 2 dozens of articles or acts in the constitutions is opened for amendments by the parliament by simple majority. Articles which can be amended by 2/3 majority. Second set of articles can be amended by special majority. Majority of the membership of both the houses and not less than 2/3 of the members. and articles which require two-thirds majority of the parliament plus ratification by the state. What does it mean? According to the third method of amendment or change, the constitution can be changed by two-third vote of the parliament followed by ratification by legislature of at least half of the states. Many provisions of constitution fall under the category such as the articles which deal with the Supreme Court and High Court and the legislative relations between the two states. So the permission or ratification of the state is also important. The President is bound to give signature or assent to the Constitution Amendment Bill. And you should remember that the basic features of the Constitution is republican and democratic form of government, secular character of the Constitution, and federal character of the Constitution. Why did I tell you this? Because does the Parliament have unlimited power to amend Constitution? The Parliament could change any provision of the Constitution provided that the amendment does not damage the basic structure of the Constitution. So this you have to remember. You can change, but the basic fabric or structure of the Constitution shall not be altered. So it's a very big chapter. We have come to the end of this chapter, and with this we come to the end of the Union Parliament. Now, what is your work? Your work is you have to go through all the five, I think in 5 classes we have finished this. Go through all my classes, go through the chapter, and in your exercise copy, civics exercise copy, write down and solve all the questions which are given at the end of the chapter. Why I am telling you this? If you solve the questions, anything beyond the questions which are given, anything beyond it, I don't think it will come in your examination. Okay, so if you go through the chapter, revise it thoroughly, and then if you solve the answers, there will be a thorough revision and you will not forget this chapter at all. So with this, we come to this end of chapter 1. In the next civics class, we will start with the Union Executive, which deals with the President and the Vice President of India. Thank you very much.